Challenge, Daytona Beach, and it's fantastic.
What an awesome event. The Mayor's Fitness Challenge.
The challenge is very good to me, and I learn more and more each day, every day.
The professionals, fitness people have been fantastic in showing us different levels that we can work with, which is great for me.
We are having a really great time. The exercising has been a little strenuous, but you know what? It's been good because we're doing things that are not common for us. We're doing the yoga, we're doing the fire fitness, we're doing the walking. So this is really all basically toning our whole body.
The fitness instructors offer us awesome insights and advice on how to maintain our fitness levels when we're in the class as well as out of the class.
So again, I just want to thank the mayor, I want to thank the city of Daytona Beach, and I want to thank my fellow participants because we really had a great time.
Just, matter of fact, I kind of.
Meeting to order. Everybody for attending. Can we have a roll call, please?
Miss Carol Killian. Here. Mr. Christos Mavrono.
Mavronis. No.
Mr. Larry McDermott.
Here?
Mr. Victor Gooden, sorry. Mr. Harry Lloyd.
Here.
Mr. Bob Rand.
Here.
Mr. Keith Norden. I believe Mr. Taiwan Harrington is here for him.
Present.
Miss Nancy Kiefer. Here. And Mr. Brad Harris for Helka Van Eckert.
Yes.
And is Ms. Katrina Frell? No.
Well, Brad's here for her place.
Brad. Okay. Just check.
And Mr. Chairman, I will let the board know that Christos did indicate to me on Monday that he would not be here, so
Okay.
he'd
Okay.
already
Very good.
let me know that ahead of time.
In your package, you should have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, reports. Let's start out with Volusia County Economic Development. Welcome, Brad.
Good morning. It's good to join you again. It's been a while. Just have a couple things I wanted to mention this morning. There's some programs that have been approved and we're now going to probably promote a little more visibly that I just wanted to mention. One of those is the Industrial Revenue Bond Program. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we have a Industrial Development Authority here in Volusia County, and with interest rates so low, the Industrial Revenue Bond business was pretty sparse. There was no real need to seek low-interest financing, but as interest rates have gone up, the Industrial Revenue Bond Program is something that can be useful to our businesses that are expanding and building facilities or buying capital equipment. So you'll see us promote that a little bit more, but it's the Industrial Revenue Bond and it's low-interest financing for businesses that are developing.
What kind of rate is usually associated with an industrial revenue?
It's market rate minus a couple points, I think, is the way it turns out. And it's the financing institutions is where that negotiation will take place, but there is an advantage of 1 to 2%, I believe, on each of these bond products.
Are there minimum, I mean, what is a minimum project size for something like that?
I don't think there is a minimum, Bob. Let me just look real quick and see if it's detailed here.
Brad, I've closed more of those than most of the average bears.
Maybe.
Generally speaking, nowadays, because of the legal costs, probably 4 to 5 million would be your minimum. And generally what you do in front of the rate is it's 1 minus the tax rate. So if their tax rate's 35%, then the rate's somewhere about 65%. Like we were talking about rates a little bit ago, so if it were 6%, your rate would probably be all in about 4.5, plus your expenses. And your expenses generally run between 1/4 and 1/2% amortized over the bond.
Okay.
But who's the head of the IDA now?
I am not in the meetings right now, so I think.
Okay, I'll have to find
Ken
that out.
Sharples might be the chair right now.
Yeah, the guy that follow about that is Charlie Sands. If you ever want to do one, Charlie has, if you want his contact information, he and I used to close a bunch of them in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s because I'll give you a project that you're probably familiar with. Dr. Duva's project over there, those 2 office buildings across from our bank, those both done with IDA enhancement. Plus, you have other authorities too. You have the hospital authority that does stuff at the hospital. Any tax exempt organization like that can do tax exempt bonds, and basically they're industrial revenue bonds. I'm not sure. Trying to think. The only person I know that knows that does them in great number is Ken Arton, and Ken lives in Ormond Beach, but he works in Orlando, and he's an attorney. And so, but I think Cobb Cole has a couple people on there that know how to do them. So, I mean, if you ever want to know anything, let me know.
The industrial
I know the players.
The Industrial Development Authority doesn't get in between the provider of the bond. That's something that each company is going to negotiate with the institutions they choose.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a $10 million max, and if they already have bonds, like you talked about, Dr. Duva, it can't go over 40 million. So those are some of the constraints on it, but it's pretty much market rate.
Thank you.
Plus the advantage.
Also, you have to have a letter of credit
Okay.
to stand, and that costs usually about 75 basis points, 7.75.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
I've done more than your average bear. I used to do those things like crazy.
Okay.
The other one I wanted to mention, and I don't know if Helga presented this when it was first approved by the council, but the Grow Volusia Business Program. Did she present it in here?
She did.
Okay. So it's
I don't
basic.
remember that. Go, do it again.
Grow Volusia Business Program. It was conceived as a replacement for what was the state's QTI, or Qualified Target Industry Program. It's a way to induce employers to stay in our area or come to our area with performance-based incentives related to job creation.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Okay, so that program's in place. You're going to see us, again, push that a little bit more, but it's a product that will help grow local as well as county-wide jobs. And the one qualifier, just so everybody knows, there is a 20% match. So for instance, if there's a Daytona Beach project that was interested in this, Daytona Beach would be asked to contribute 20% of that. So that's another program that was created to help with growing our economy. I wanted to mention one other thing. It's called the Workforce Reentry Program. Again, it hasn't been something we've promoted, but we're going to put a little more emphasis on that. But it has to do with the county's corrections facility, and we have inmates that come through there, and they're there for a very brief period of time, usually in transition while their cases are being cleared up or dealt with. But when they come out of that facility, usually within 90 to, I'm going to say 90 days up to 9 months, they will have potentially been certified in certain skill sets and are ready to go to work. And so that reentry program is through our corrections. You can go to our website at floridabusiness.org to connect with that program. And there's another potential workforce asset that we can bring to bear in our community right now.
Very good.
Very capable people. Just a couple updates. I don't know if you've been out by the airport. There's been some excavation going on out there on the southeast corner. That is commercial property. It's airport property that's available for commercial use. That is one of the sites for Daytona Beach landfill. And that has prevented us from utilizing that to construct facilities. So we are now clearing out that old landfill, and that work is being done through the summer. So by end of summer, that should be available. And because Daytona Beach is working with us on an adjacent site, the utility infrastructure is being developed around that as well. So we hope that the south and southeast portion of airport property will be available for further development.
Is it that whole 200 acres that you're clearing, or is it just a portion of it?
Well, there's what we call the southeast is parcel 61. I'm thinking it's in the, boy, don't quote me on this, 20-acre range.
Okay.
That's where the landfill activity, and there's some debris there. There's another, I'm going to say 30 or so acres, which is part of parcel 62, which is cleared and ready for development now. And then the 200 or 300 acres, Bob, which you're talking about farther south, that is not part of this.
All right.
Okay, so that's what that activity is.
Has the brownfield thing come in to play on that?
It is a brownfield. We could have utilized that, but because a lot of reasons why we didn't do that.
Okay,
So right now, we're just funding that through the county.
okay, thank you.
Very good.
The other, Bob, one other thing, Dirty Dog, you've seen a sign up along ISB out there next to, what is it?
Oh, yeah, over there next to AAA.
Yes.
Yeah.
That project's been languishing. There's a lot of legal issues with rights of way and land swaps and relocating stoplights, and it's just been a long project. And you've seen their sign that says, well, they're going to occupy or open in fall of '22. Well, that didn't happen. So anyhow, we finally worked through all of that, and you'll see that finally come to fruition. There'll be some work there at that intersection, and that'll open the opportunity to do more development, not only there on ISB frontage, but it then puts a right-of-way back to the property that's behind the AAA that fronts Williamson. So there's another commercial development, potentially commercial development site there.
Yeah, well, they've been dealing with the Unitons. It takes a little bit of time.
That land on the north side of Williamson, behind the AAA, that's county land?
Correct. It's
Right.
airport property, so there are some limitations to what you can do there, but we're happy to see that right away.
Very good. Very good.
Go out to ISB.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Brad. Juan?
Good morning, everyone. Currently, Keith Norton is in attendance of the Paris Air Show that takes place June 19th through the 25th. It's the 54th edition of this event that occurs every other year. Team Volusia participated in the Puerto Rican Summit in Orlando, June 14th through the 16th. This was a very good event. We had the opportunity to meet with different businesses in regards to from Puerto Rico. Trace Marino attended the Women's Forum on behalf of Team Volusia, and Sheriff Chetwood was on a panel as well with Ms. Marino in regards to women's safety. And Harry Jorgensen was in attendance of the second and third day of this event. But one of the highlights is since our last meeting, we did have the meeting with Project Opal. Team Volusia County is now shortlisted with the help of Team Volusia and Volusia County. So the highlight about this project is going to create 680 jobs if we land this project. It's a $987 million capital investment and an average wage of $80,000.
Wow.
Right.
Boy, that's awesome.
Where do they think they'll locate?
That actually, we're looking at the airport property.
At
This
the
is-
airport, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's see it happen. Let's get her done.
Right.
Anything else, Juan?
No, that's everything.
Nancy with the chamber?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. First of all, this week, the airport does welcome its first two Avelo flights that are coming inbound. So tomorrow, Thursday at 10 o'clock or 10:45, and Friday are the first two inbound flights. So people are invited to go out and welcome them. We'll be there, doing our community due diligence and making sure they feel welcome in our community. So that's exciting to see that come to fruition. A lot of events going on. July 13th, we have our Eggs and Issues, which will be our featured speaker is Cyrus Kylam. Is that how you say his last name? Cyrus. That's what I'm getting.
Cyrus Callum.
Yeah, Cyrus Callum. I'm for some reason having a hard time with that this morning. He'll be our featured speaker at the Eggs and Issues at 7:30 a.m. On July 26th, we'll be holding a program with the SBA on women-owned business certification. We're doing a lot of programming for small business right now, helping them, see the potential they have to get certified in various areas. That all leads to potential growth opportunities as well. So we're excited about that. On July 27th, we will be hosting a Live Local panel. The new legislation that has come out, that'll be at 3 p.m. at Daytona State College, bringing people in to talk about what that means from an affordable housing standpoint. And we should have a very good panel speaking on that. On August 8th, we'll be doing a candidate boot camp. That's an all-day activity. Anybody that's considering running for office, we encourage them to come out. It's free. We bring in the supervisor of elections, current elected officials, managers, things like that to explain the process so that people can fully understand what it's like to be in an elected position. So anyone that's even thinking about it should come out to that. And then on August 29th, we'll have our elected official icebreaker. All elected officials from every city the county, the state, and our federal representatives are invited to come out and just very casually interact with the business community. So a lot of the activity going on. And just a quick update on the Chamber building. We're in month 3 of our renovations over there, and things are going along very well. The interior demo was completed. Now we're starting to see structure and walls go back up. So we're moving along rapidly, and hopefully, we'll continue to keep that project on target and, be ready to bring a beautiful business center to this community for use in 2024.
Very good. We're looking forward to
You're
that.
not very busy, are you?
Nothing going on.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other reports for board members?
I would like to bring folks up to date. As you all will recall, the city was behind our starting the Volusia Volunteers in Medicine. So I'd like to give you all a quick update on that. We have opened an office now down in New Smyrna. And it's in combination with what we have here also. And we see patients a couple of days a week here in Daytona over on Mason. And the New Smyrna folks are very excited about it. The health department has offered us down there, they've got a beautiful building there in New Smyrna that was really underutilized, especially during the COVID things kind of shut down. So we have an office space there and that we do once a month, and we're going to increase that number. We met with the city council and the mayor, and they're all very excited about it. We're able to see more and more patients now because everything was relegated to telehealth, telemarketing,
Telehealth, right.
What do you call it? During COVID. So we're getting back to actually seeing patients now. And we have a number of doctors who are new to providing their services. So I just wanted to give you all that quick update.
Very good. Thank you. Old business, I'm not aware of any old business that we need to cover. New business, the Economic and Strategic Opportunities Report, which is in your packet.
I didn't get that.
It should be.
Yeah, it should have been part of your attachment, but
No, I didn't get it.
It came in the email, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so I gave you a list there of the TRT reviews that we did this month. We did respond to one request for a manufacturing space of 45,000 square feet, which we currently do not have in our inventory to be able to reply. I think it came from Taiwan. For that, begin working with the car washes Brad mentioned earlier. And then the biggest thing we did this month was working on the Senior Frogs lease with the city attorney and getting that to fruition, and hopefully you'll see that on the agenda on July 5th.
And where is Senior Frogs go?
They'll be located at the property that city owns it's 41 Ocean Avenue, which is that parking lot at the intersection of Ocean and Harvey. So it includes that parking lot and then another quarter-acre size. It's about 3/4 of an acre parcel that the city owns there.
And they'll put a building up, how big a building?
I think it's about 9,000 square feet, I believe it is. 50-year lease for the site. Hopefully they'll be done with construction. I think that's into contract by the end of 2024.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
Was that ice cream?
No.
What is it?
Senior Frogs is
Oh, it's a drinking establishment.
It's a restaurant.
A restaurant.
Yeah, restaurant /
Or
after hours.
Is that the same thing as down in Bahamas?
Yes.
Ah,
Exactly
now
the
I
same thing.
understand. Okay, been there.
It's all coming back to you now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Spent a whole weekend there one night.
Okay. We'll talk about that later. Any public comment? Would anyone like to step up and give us their comments?
And what brought you in this morning?
yeah.
See, we get her.
Here.
Park Avenue. I came in today because I saw on the commission agenda item 10A, and I do not think that advisory boards should be made up of people who do not live in our city. And I do understand the difficulty of finding people to serve on boards. It is hard. But I think that we should be searching for people who do live in the city, and that if we did a very diligent scrubbing and search, we could find people. So I am on the board of the Halifax Historical Museum, and I think that qualifies as a cultural institute, and I have to put my money where my mouth is, so I applied for this board.
Oh, very good.
So-
Very good.
Well, and for one time, you and I agree.
Well, that might happen once in a while.
Well, we did have a big discussion last month about that very subject on this dais. No, I agree. Citizens should do their citizen duty, and we shouldn't have people who live in Ormond Beach or South Daytona or whatever on our boards. I just don't believe that.
All right. All right.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Project Robin, which we heard at our last meeting,
yeah.
will be on the agenda for tonight
Okay, good.
in front of the City Commission.
Been any questions about that?
There was one minor question, and I think we got it resolved.
I mean, we recommended the incentive program. I was just wondering if there's any comeback with the city commissioners or
No, there was
from our
no.
recommendation?
Yeah, there was no. I'll say pushback on it. There was a question regarding what's the word I want to use? The penalty phase of it. That if they don't produce the jobs, there was a question about that.
Okay, very good. Well, we had a short meeting today, and that kind of leads us, July and August are scheduled for break. And as evidenced by today, there's not quite as much going on, so I think it's appropriate that we take a break for a couple months and come back in October.
September.
I'm sorry, September 20th, yes.
Okay.
And of course, if anything does
Sure.
appear on the horizon that we need your input in, then we will reconvene another meeting.
Well, I'd really be interested in some of the applicants also who might be on the.
I can forward you that information when we get it all, because there's a process that they have to go through. So they submit the application.
Sure,
Then there's determining, are they an elector or not? Then there's
right.
at your place of business, do you have any code enforcement issues? Because if you do, then that also takes you out of the running for the membership until you get that issue addressed.
Okay.
Has Dr. Gooden been?
Now, I'm going to make another effort to reach out to Dr.
Yeah.
Gooden
Yeah.
because
Yeah, we haven't
if
seen him in
he's
a while.
not going to be here, which, if he has some issues that he can't be here, then
Right.
That's
And he
fine.
hasn't been here for 6 months at least, I think. Okay.
Right, okay.
Bob, could I make
Sure.
one more thing? Just a heads up, Volusia Business Resources, I don't know if you're familiar with Volusia Business Resources. It is a website. It is a entity that was created to consolidate the effort to find resources for businesses. But there is an annual survey associated with Volusia Business Resources. That annual survey will be going out probably next week. And so I encourage any of the board members that are business owners to please help us with that and encourage others to do so. We really do desire to hear from our businesses. This is one of the main channels that we do that through. And so partner organizations will all be kind of sending that out in newsletters and other correspondence. So Volusia Business Resources Annual Business Survey coming up real soon.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anything else before we close the meeting? All right, with that, we are adjourned. We will see you in September.
Thank you all.
Who's Dennis Stark?
I feel like singing.
Dennis
Thank you.
was a member of the